If you go through the journey being curious, having fun, not taking things too seriously and being realistic and thinking, I've never done this before. The likelihood this is 100% going to go to plan is very slim. But you know what? Let's enjoy the process. You'll have a more pleasurable experience. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Guest Book Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Gill, and I am the founder and creator of the Wedding Planning Collective. And I created this beautiful space for brides just like you to create your dream day your way, all whilst looking after your mental health, your mindset, and your well-being. And talking of our mindset, this is what we're looking at this week. So it's week 6 of the bridal self-love journey, and we are looking at our mindset and our belief system, like limiting beliefs. And this is super, super important when it comes to your wedding planning journey. And if you're in a frame of mind right now that this journey is going to be hard, that this journey is going to be stressful, that, it's probably going to be more trouble than it's worth, and we should just elope straight off the bat, your whole experience will be that. You'll be forever wishing that you did a certain thing. You'll be forever going, well, I knew it was going to be stressful. You are going to gear yourself up for having a stressful, overwhelming experience. Now, if you're going into your wedding planning journey going, this is exciting, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to learn a lot along the way. I know not everything's going to go to plan, but you know what? That's part of the journey. You are going to have a more enjoyable experience because you're open to having things happen that may be out of your control, that you're having fun, that you're playing. And you're probably in that frame of mind that I've never booked or done a wedding before. And guess what? It's not going to 100% go to plan. I think we're all a little delusional, us brides, in thinking that we can make a wedding completely go to plan, nothing go wrong. It is going to go how you see it foreseen going when you've never done it before. I mean, I don't know about you, but when was the last time that you did something brand new and it 100% go to plan? I mean, that's few and far between. And maybe you're one of these people who actually really excel at things and it go 100% to plan. Let's be a little realistic in our wedding planning journey and look at it from the point of view of, this is brand new. It's something I've never done before. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to learn and I'm just going to relax. Let's bed into this. And if things come along that really get on our nerves, that really push our buttons, that we have things in place, coping mechanisms, tools, whatever you may need to help us have a more enjoyable experience. Because if you are somebody who is thinking that things are going to be stressful, it will be that way. If you're someone who's going to be open to that experience and have fun, it will be a more enjoyable experience. So let's dive into this because mindset work is my wheelhouse. I absolutely love it. And it's something that I've been on a journey on, put my teeth in. It's a journey I've been going on for about 15 years. And I tell you now, I am a different person today than I was 15 years ago. And yes, we should evolve, we should adapt, we should change. But the way that I react to things, the way that I feel about things and see things is completely different. You might have seen it if you've been on my website, on my About Me bit. I mean, it's quite a lengthy About Me page. But on there, I was told that if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. That was my mantra for life. And I was said this by friends, I was said this by family. And so I started believing it. I started to believe the fact that, oh, well, at least I've got bad luck, because if not, I'd have no luck. I mean, what would you rather have? But what I really came to believe was I make my own luck. And as soon as I shifted that mindset, I started to look at things differently. I started to believe that things would work out in my favor. And you can do this too. And it's really, really easy. So first of all, let's have a look at what the difference is between mindset and limiting beliefs. So our mindset is a set of beliefs that shape the way we make sense of the world and how we see ourselves. So you can have a pretty negative mindset, or you can have a pretty positive mindset, or a kind of neutral mindset. But you can, in essence, change your mindset whenever you want. Now, limiting beliefs are a little bit more complicated because we are kind of conditioned over time to have a certain belief system. And this is down to our core beliefs. And this happens from when we are born to up to about 12. And this is a state of mind or a belief about ourselves that restrict us in some way. So it could be a story that we tell ourselves about what we are, what we like, how people act or react to us, whatever it may be. And that can hold us back from being who we truly want to be. We are conditioned to believe certain things from our parents. We are like a sponge. We absorb it all from a very, very young age. And then that is then stored in our little brains and becomes our beliefs, our core beliefs. And it is crazy because we can walk around with that belief system our whole entire life. And we can just go, yeah, well, that's just how it is. That's how I was brought up. That's what I was told. That's what I was shown. But we can change that. And it is as simple as proving those beliefs wrong. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. Now, I have an 80-20 rule when it comes to my business. And that's how I kind of run my business and what I do for my business. And I also have an 80-20 rule when it comes to working with brides and how we work on them and their weddings. That is 80% mindset and 20% strategy when it comes to my business. So when it comes to my clients, we do 80% mindset and 20% planning. And you're probably going, Kelly, what? Surely not. Surely it should be 80% planning and 20% mindset. Your mindset is everything. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, I've got a pretty good mindset, actually. I probably won't need to do that work. Believe me, your mindset work never stops. There's things in our life, such as weddings, such as moving house, such as children, that can change our whole perception on how we see things, how we do things, how we act, how we react. It can very much change the chemistry in our brain. And so working on our mindset is huge. It's my wheelhouse. It's what I do. And if you aren't in the right frame of mind, it can have a detrimental effect on your whole journey. And I want you to enjoy the whole journey, not just the one day, the whole journey. And I like to say to my brides that it's not about what we achieve. It's not about that end goal of our wedding day. It's about who we become on the whole journey. We're looking at this as the game. The whole game is the wedding day. That's the game plan. It's that one day. But when you think that all of that time, all of that planning, all of the stress, overwhelm, excitement has been building and building and building and building up until that one day, the whole journey has a final outcome on that day. So we want to be the best that we can be. And that's why I'm doing this bridal self-love journey, because I don't feel like it's spoken about enough, or we're given the direction that we need to look after us as well. And our mindsets are huge when it comes to life-changing events. And you probably think it was just a wedding, but it is a life-changing event, something to celebrate on the milestone of our life. Our limiting beliefs live in our subconscious mind. It's part of our core values and our core belief system. And as I said, it's from when we were born to about 12 that these beliefs become our own. Now, it's up to us as adults whether or not we want to continue with those beliefs, whether they fit us anymore and our values, or whether we want to get rid of them and replace them. And they're stored in our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind controls 95% of how we think, how we react, how we behave, and the actions that we take, and the way that we perceive life. And our subconscious mind can't think independently from itself. It really can't. It just responds exactly how it's been programmed and how it's been conditioned. Based on that, and based on the experiences that we have, our subconscious mind will react. Now, it can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy, or truth and lies, because we can tell it, we can program it, and it can believe it. So, for instance, when you were younger and you were told that Father Christmas existed by our parents, we had no reason not to trust it. And so our belief system was like, this is true. And every year the same thing would happen, and this is true. And we would believe it and believe it and believe it. Until certain things, as we get older and become more aware of our surroundings and more conscious of people and their actions and energies, that we may start doubting things, or people may say things that make us doubt it. And then that truth that we were told and that truth that we believed, we were given and shown that it was a lie. And that belief system then got ruined. It got washed its hands off, and we no longer believe it. And we can do exactly the same for our other beliefs and our other things in our mindset. We have to prove our mind wrong. We have to show that what it's believing isn't correct. Otherwise, we will continue to believe something when we know deep down that it's not right, or it doesn't fit us anymore. Now, a business mentor of mine, Carrie Green, you've probably heard me mention her time and time again. I'm part of the members club at the Female Entrepreneur Association, and I do all of my website and everything on FAA Create. Her book, She Means Business, is like my business Bible. I just love the woman. I think she's great. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing all of this, because I wouldn't have the knowledge to do this and have the courage to come on here and speak to you and give you useful things for you to actually change your life with and have a more pleasurable experience whilst wedding planning with. So there's a flow chart of things that Carrie says, and in it, it will change the way that your mindset works. Now, if you, as I mentioned before, if you go into this thinking that it's going to be a negative experience, that's going to be overwhelming because everyone has told you, and you're just gearing yourself up to just be, put through the ringer wedding planning, that will be your story. That's the thing you tell yourself, and you will actually experience that. But if you go through the journey being curious, having fun, not taking things too seriously, and being realistic and thinking, I've never done this before, the likelihood this is 100% going to go to plan is very slim. But you know what? Let's enjoy the process. You'll have a more pleasurable experience. So let's have a look at this flow chart. You've probably seen this before or seen something similar before. So your thoughts determine the decisions you take. Your decisions determine the action you take. And the action you take determines the outcome for your whole entire life. And we have to reconnect with ourselves from an internal level if we want a different outcome from life. So in those two scenarios, we can determine the outcome by thinking a certain way and then having the decision, okay, yeah, let's go in a more curious, fun approach. Those decisions then have a more impactful effect on the actions that we take, and the actions determine the outcome. So you're going to have a more pleasurable experience when it comes to your wedding. I just find that incredible. And when I first saw this from Carrie and she explained it, a light bulb went off in my head when it came to business. So I applied this to my business and I thought, brides are going to love this. If I can explain this exactly how Carrie has explained it, but turn it for you and your wedding planning experience, light bulbs. And every single bride right now loves this, because when they find themselves in a pickle, what they can do is they can go back to the beginning and go, you know what? If I'm stressed out or overwhelmed or don't know what to do, let's go back to our thoughts. Let's go back to our mindset. I do exactly the same thing in my business. If business isn't going how I want it, if I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed or tired or, burnt out, why? And 9 times out of 10, it's my mindset. And brides are finding exactly the same thing. So have a little think about that and think about what your current thoughts are about the wedding planning process and what other people have told you that the wedding planning process is going to be. Because right now in your head, you've got evidence probably that it's going to be stressful, that it's going to be overwhelming. Things are just going to hit the fan, right? And your friends and your family have told you all this, and you've got evidence of this. Just because it was their experience does not mean it has to be yours. Because the way that we feel, what we think, how we act, and how we react are the only things that we can control. So that was their experience, and they probably got told exactly the same things they're telling you, that it's going to be stressful, overwhelming. And so they took that energy and that story, and that's what the outcome was. But right now, you can change that and have a more pleasurable experience, a more memorable experience by having a different mindset entirely. Let's end this episode with a little exercise, because I do this every week and I think it's really important that you implement everything that I'm talking about, because that's how we're going to get better. That's how we're going to have a great experience from start to finish throughout our whole life, because you can take everything I'm teaching you and use it to change your life. You can use it way after your wedding. You can help others along the way. So let's do this quick exercise, shall we? So first of all, let's look at what our predominant beliefs are that we hold about ourselves. And this is your abilities, about your worthiness, that kind of thing. And these things will be your core beliefs and the things that you hold about yourself right now. The story we tell ourselves, what you're thinking, and how you feel about yourself. Now, as I said, you could be feeling really good about yourself, quite confident, and that is great. But if not, we can work on it. You can change it. And before we can change anything, we have to accept where we're currently at, always. So have a little look at what your predominant beliefs are that you hold about yourself. It doesn't matter about anybody else right now, just about yourself. Then what I want you to do is go ahead and write them down. So grab your journal. I have got mine somewhere, but it's not to hand. Grab your journal and write them down. So it could be that a limiting belief that you may hold about weddings right now is that you have to lose weight before your wedding, or you can't look beautiful as a plus size bride. Write it all down. It could be that your limiting belief about a wedding is that you have to have 250 people there at your wedding. You have to have a massive wedding. Or it could be that your limiting belief is that it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't change anything. We can go in and prove those beliefs wrong, because is that really your belief, or is that something that you've carried with you because a parent has said it in the past? And then we've attached to it and made it our own. Get clear, write it down about your abilities, your worthiness, your views on weddings and marriage. I did go over this slightly on my very first episode, which was called Big Beautiful Questions. And I did a lot of kind of deep dive stuff when it comes to weddings and marriage. And I'm not a surface level girly. I've told you this before. I would not be telling you about trends and things, because those things don't matter to me. What matters to me is how we celebrate our love, and how we are in relationships. I think they're very, very important. So go and listen to episode 1. It's called Big Beautiful Questions. And on the blog, there's a list of all the questions that I asked, and you can go through that as well. For now, list everything that your mindset and your limiting beliefs when it comes to yourself, your abilities and your worthiness, and maybe your thoughts around weddings and marriage. Once you've written them down, I want you to prove yourself wrong. Prove those beliefs wrong. And this could be scouring the internet for evidence to prove your mind wrong. This could be speaking to a friend or a relative about their experiences and proving your mind wrong. It's about going, it's okay to change our mindset. It's okay to have a different belief. This belief doesn't suit me anymore. This belief doesn't sit well with me anymore. It's not in my values. Prove it wrong. So maybe the plus size bride approach, maybe you think, well, my family said I'm not going to look good as a plus size person in a wedding dress. Find evidence online of women who look absolutely phenomenal, of curvy brides. Maybe it's that you have that belief of I have to shred before the wedding. I hate that saying. I hate that approach. I think it's toxic. If you want to lose a few pounds before the wedding, or if you want to get fitter before the wedding, do it, but not at the detriment of your health. Because what then happens is you'll look back at your wedding photos and go, God, I looked absolutely stunning. Look at me now. And our mindset affects us later down the line. So you could be not having a really pleasurable experience on your fitness, well, not necessarily your fitness journey, maybe dieting. You're restricting yourself too much. And so when you look back at your pictures, your first instinct is, oh man, I look amazing. And then as time goes by, you'll remember the time that you restricted yourself, and you'll start resenting that moment. So our mindsets are crucial for the whole entire journey, in like one big bubble. Prove yourself wrong, and this is how we're going to shift and change our mindset. It's so important to do so, and it's actually really, really easy. It's easy to prove ourselves wrong. Now, if you are somebody who doesn't like to be proved wrong, your brain can be quite stubborn. It's about consistency. So continuously show your mind the evidence that the belief system it holds right now is incorrect, and we can shift it that way. I thought it was going to take me a long, long time to shift certain beliefs, when in actual fact, it didn't at all. And the more we work on our mindset, the more that we work on our belief system, the better we feel, because we don't have all of this kind of junk, I guess, in our minds to tell us that we are wrong, or we can't have certain things, or we can't be a certain way, when we so can. And when we're continuously working on our mindset as well, life's just a lot more easier, because we're not going on the attack at people straight away. We're kind of regulating our own nervous systems. We understand that we can only control ourselves, what we think, what we feel, how we act, and how we react. And so our experience has a knock-on effect throughout our life. And you're not too late to do this either. You can do this at any time, whether you're 18, 30, 80, you can change your mindset. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I will be doing a lot more mindset work, because it's what I do. If you have enjoyed it, please leave me a comment. Comment on YouTube, over on Instagram, wherever you see me. When you see my face, give me a comment. Let me know how you're getting on with your wedding planning. If you've got any questions at all, send me an email at info@theweddingplanningcollective.com, or you can go and see me over on Instagram. Go and join in the conversation there. And remember that your thoughts determine the decisions you make, and the decisions that you make determine the action you'll take, and that action will determine the outcome. So get clear about your thoughts, and about the decisions on what you want to create on your wedding planning journey and beyond. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and I hope you have a fantastic week.